The woman made a terrifying discovery. No matter how fast the train was speeding along, an old woman would always appear outside the window. Even more bizarrely, the elderly lady kept gesticulating wildly with her hands, as if trying to warn Ruby about something. Determined to get to the bottom of this, Ruby got off the train and approached the old woman. To her surprise, no matter how close Ruby got, the old woman always maintained a certain distance. Ruby felt a bit exasperated, convinced the lady must be messing with her. And no matter how much Ruby called out, the old woman never responded, just kept making those hand gestures. Perplexed and confused, Ruby decided to leave. But when Ruby reached the bottom of the hill, she found that same old lady standing on the cliff where she had just been. And wherever Ruby went, the elderly woman would always follow close behind. Realizing how creepy this was, Ruby wanted to escape immediately. Just then, a hiker happened to be passing by. Ruby hurriedly asked for his help, hoping he could find out why the old lady kept following her. However, after talking to the old woman, the hiker's expression turned to one of horror. He glanced at Ruby, then ran off in a panic. This scene frightened Ruby so much that she fled to a nearby town and took refuge in a tavern, asking the other patrons if they had seen the old woman outside. The kind-hearted tavern owner offered to invite the elderly lady in to warm up, but after the old woman whispered something to him, the owner reacted just like the hiker had, staring at Ruby in terror before immediately running away. Ruby had no choice but to go home and tell her mother about this bizarre incident. She begged her mom to stay on the line with her to figure out what the old lady was actually saying. Ruby reminded her mother not to respond, no matter what the woman said. But just as her mom slowly approached the elderly lady, strange static suddenly came through the phone. Ruby realized something was wrong, and after giving Ruby a look, her mother turned and fled. By the time Ruby reached the intersection, her mother had already gotten in a taxi and left, giving only a cold, detached glance. Desperate, Ruby went to the police station for help. The cops determined that the old woman always maintained a precise distance of 73 yards from Ruby. An officer tried to take a photo with his cell phone, but the image was blurry. Just as the police were about to arrest the old lady, all the officers looked at Ruby with grave expressions. In an instant, their faces turned pale. One cop told Ruby to retreat and quickly led everyone away from the scene. Despairing, Ruby had to accept the fact that as long as no one else interacted with the old woman, it seemed no further panic would ensue. However, one day while Ruby was eating out, she suddenly saw a man named Mark on the news. In the future, this man would be elected president, and he would go on to detonate a nuclear bomb, triggering World War III. Seeing that Mark was running for president, Ruby abruptly realized that she might have a chance to prevent this world war from happening.